Live from 58 Dream Street, Jameson with Games. Happy Saturday, folks. I'm going to move the microphone a little bit here. Cedric, welcome. I'm glad that you are here to face these perils with me. I don't know what this hairstyle is. I guess I was trying to be Tintin and came up a little bit short. Alright. I'll try not to think about it. Here we are. And indeed, we are continuing our King's Quest, an ongoing saga, with the fourth game. Last week, we completed Gwydion, or Alexander, as his real name is, his quest, which was to escape the clutches of the wizard Manannan and return to Daventry, where we learned that at least... well... I think I've been doing a good job of being a partner today, so probably nobody in this home is going to blackjack me. So I think it's going to come up short in a couple of ways. Oh well. But yeah, young Alexander is reunited with his family, and we learn, Dashtari, welcome, that within the context of the King's Quest world, something like 20 years or more had passed. Because King Graham and Queen Valinus had time to have 2 children. I believe, but I'm not certain, that Alexander, formerly Gwydion, is the older one. But at any rate, he was 17. So a lot of time passed. And we ended on a cliffhanger where King Graham said, I'm a little bit too old for adventuring. He says that now, but we'll see. But for now, he took his adventuring cap off the wall and he threw it in the air to his 2 children. Who's going to catch it? Well, we ended on a freeze frame just before either of them could catch it. But even before we fire up the game, it's been spoiled for us. The Perils of Rosella. A girl going on a king's quest. Now I've seen everything. Let's fire it up. Oh, good. I forgot that I was going to need to do this. Okay. So, we have significantly scaled down copy protection to the more traditional system of just going to the manual and getting a word in a test, given to you at the start, as opposed to building the entire game around a spellbook that is only contained within the manual. When I read the manual, so I should have remembered this, because when I read the manual last week, there was literally no useful information in it except a table that saves you from actually having to go to particular spots. So on page 3, what's the third word in the 7th paragraph? Let's find out. Page 3. 7th word in the 3rd paragraph. Oh, there absolutely must have been. It's not like there was never a video game that starred a girl before, but I'm not super confident that the PC gaming scene of the late 80s had much main character female representation before this. And certainly adventure game genre. Not that I am by any means an expert, but I am a person who knows a whole lot of random things about a bunch of stuff. And off the top of my head, there are in Maniac Mansion, where you are assigned one main character whose name might be Dave, but I could be remembering that wrong. I don't know. I've played the game for like 5 seconds. Someday here, probably. But then you get to pick 2 of his friends, and 2 of the options are women. And I can't think of another good example before this. So it's revolutionary. Page 3, paragraph 3, word 7. Oh, good. It's not listed. Unless it's the last word of the paragraph, in which case it's crown. But none of the page 3s here, page 3, paragraph 3, refer to the 7th word. But one of them says last word. So let's hope. Hold on. What are the other paragraph threes? Hello, British. I am the gamer son of my father. That's an apt way to describe me. I was staring at it for a moment because I was doing a thing this week of feeding logic problems into ChatGPT to try to get good examples where I could challenge my students to say, like, did this thing produce like clear reasoning, the right answer? And so I started off easy with the old brothers and sisters I have none. This man's father is my father's son. And it failed. Not at that, though. It succeeded well at that, because that is an example that probably is literally repeated many times in its training data. But it gets really bad as you introduce real problems. It can do remarkably well at noticing some patterns and interpreting some statements. Sometimes it even stumbles to the right answer, but the reasoning along the way, like it'll be like, say, if X, then Y. This means that if X is true, then Y is true. Therefore, we can assume Y is true. But it hasn't said anything about proving X. Sorry, what you typed does not match. Can't play. Kicked out. That's all right. What we'll do is we'll go back in, full in the hope that it gives me an example that's actually in this friggin' table. If this one doesn't work, I will look up a separate table from the one that is in the manual I've been given here from the good folks at GOG. I wonder what the reason was that they... Futurama did prove that there is a way. There's a theoretical way to become your own grandfather. All right. Page 8, third paragraph, 9th word. Page 8, third paragraph, 9th word, downfall. Practical. Tell me more. Tell me more, British. I'm curious. All right, we're in. This is my first time playing King's Quest IV. It is. I'm not sure that I'm going to need whatever advice. Do I got a bit of a canted angle going here. I call it 60s Batman villain. Oh, I missed my chance. Oh. I've been playing without headphones on. But I think this is the first King's Quest game with real sound card support. I should probably listen. Let me know how the levels are. Well, that was lovely. Executive producer Ken Williams, directed by Roberta Williams. This checks out. Designed by Roberta Williams as well. William Goldstein, responsible for our first sound card-based soundtrack. This is the... I think this is the first King's Quest game with a technological advancement. The first three, although they do... Certainly King's Quest 3 is more sophisticated than King's Quest 1. King's Quest 2 and 3 both have better graphics than King's Quest 1. With the return of his long-lost son, hold that thought, Alexander, and the rescue of his daughter Rosella from the terrible dragon, old King Graham decides it's time to pass on his adventurer's hat to younger blood. Okay, this is proceeding at a reasonable pace. He flings the battered hat towards his children while his wife, Queen Valinus, proudly looks on. So right off the bat, obviously, we have upgraded graphics. The hat arches through the hair. Suddenly, King Graham experiences a terrible squeezing pain in his chest. Help me, he rasps. The adventurer's hat lies, unclaimed, upon the floor, forgotten. So I misinterpreted what the reveal was going to be. It's not that Rosella catches the hat. We have a more sophisticated issue here. Oh, yep, that checks out. And it doesn't involve time travel. King Graham lies weakly in bed, Father Death hovering near. Grief suddenly overwhelming her, Rosella runs out of the room. "Oh, father," she sobs, "you're still young. You should have many years ahead of you. Oh, I wish I could help you, father." "Do you really mean that?" a soft, mirror-y voice asks. Rosella looks up but sees no one. "Who's speaking to me?" "I am," the voice says. "Look in the magic mirror." Rosella sees an image in the mirror. Who are you?" she queries. This is definitely our most involved cinematic experience yet in the King's Quest series. "I am the fairy Genesta. In my land of Tamir there is a remarkable tree. This tiny tree needs 100 years to bear a single fruit. But this is no ordinary fruit, for if a person were to eat it, they would find that good health and well-being would be theirs for many years." Really complicated to draw that family tree. Rosella is much heartened by this news. "Where is the land of Tamir?" Genesta smiles. "Tamir is very far away, but with my magic, I can bring you here." Rosella senses that there is more to the story, but I suppose there are some problems. Maybe some perils? Again, Genesta smiles. "Yes, you are correct, Rosella. If you are willing to come to Tamir, I will explain the situation. However, once I bring you here, I can't send you back. You will have to help me first." That sounds like a funny song. Confused, Rosella says, "I don't know. What if I can't help you or find the tree?" Genesta pleads, "You must decide now, Rosella. My powers are growing weaker by the minute." Family bundle of sticks. Now, the fairy is but a faint glimmer and her voice barely audible. "If you care for your father, say yes now." And suddenly she's gone. Rosella, "Yes!" Man, Genesta the fairy would be a good recruiter for an MLM, for a multi-level marketing scheme. She's got all the high-pressure tactics. "If you care about your father, say yes now." The lovely fairy speaks. "I am the fairy Genesta. Welcome to Tamir." Rosella looks awestruck at the fairy. She is stunningly beautiful, but still there is a certain sadness to her. Finally, Rosella speaks. "I know you would like me to help you in some way, but I don't know how I could help a fairy." "Maybe you could walk around, pick up some objects on the ground, figure out how to use them to solve some puzzles?" Genesta looks sadder than ever. "You're wrong, Rosella. You see, I'm losing my magical powers. Yesterday, as I was strolling through the woods, Lolotte, the evil fairy, did something bad." The fairy sighs. "She yanked it away from my neck and raced away, screeching with laughter. Immediately, I felt my powers diminishing, my body weakening. I will die in 24 hours if my talisman is not returned." Put a pin in that thought. Intent, Genesta looks at Rosella. "Lolotte is very evil and will use the talisman to bring more evil to Tamir. Now I fear it will contaminate my whole country. Further, I cannot send you home without my talisman." Rosella's unsure as to what she can do. Meekly, she asks, "I want to help you, but how?" "You can do more than you think, Rosella," Genesta assures her. "I believe you will be able to penetrate Lolotte's domain without causing my brain to lack the... it won't give me any defense against the brains that make people stupid." Suddenly, Rosella remembers the tiny tree and says something. Remorsefully, Genesta looks at Rosella. "It will not be easy to reach the tree. It grows on a tiny island within a vast swamp on the other side of the great mountains." Bravely fighting back tears, Rosella says, I will help you in any way I can, Genesta. How can I find Lolotte? The beautiful fairy points eastward. Lolotte's castle overlooks Tamir from the great mountains. Genesta looks weaker, she says. There's not much more I can do, Rosella. As it is, it will be difficult for me to fly home again. One thing I must do for you, though. I shall disguise you as a peasant girl, so as not to attract attention. If you'd mentioned it, Genesta, I could have grabbed a hat that would help with the disguise. Thank you, Genesta. I think, Rosella stammers. Oh, just wait till you start moving, Rosella. You're like, is this how comfortable peasants are all the time? It will be better for you, the fairy says. Well, I must be off while I can still fly. I know you can do it. Goodbye. Good luck. Well, you're on your own, Rosella. Quest number 1. Walk around until you find bus fare on the ground somewhere. In a stump or something. Underneath a rock. You find 1 bus pass. I think it's time for me to advance the dialogue. No. Maybe I have to enter? Yes. Okay. Now we're in the real start screen. Alright. I'm carrying nothing, but to finish some thoughts. To finish my thought from before. King's Quest III was more technically sophisticated because of fancier programming in the same engine. They just tried things. Tried new things. It was a design thing, not a tech thing. Here, we have a whole new engine. The Sierra Creative Interpreter. The SCI engine. I couldn't tell you much about what difference that makes. I assume the text parser is a little more robust, but I don't know. Certainly we have better graphics in the sense of higher tech. Double the horizontal resolution. Thank you, Tashtari. Obviously the sound is orchestrated and played through a sound card and not through, pardon me, a PC speaker, which is just grand. And finally, I'll tell you everything that I know about this game going in. I don't have any solutions to particular famous tricky puzzles in this game in my mind. I know nothing about in that regard. But I had heard a quote from Roberta Williams saying, I wanted to make a game where the whole story takes place within 1 day. And the intro just affirmed, we have a pretty hard 24-hour limit where the fairy will die and then we can't save the day. The remaining bit is that I know, and we can see up in the stats bar or whatever you want to call it at the top of the screen. Although the only stats it tells us are what my score is and which game I am playing. That bar doesn't have a timer anymore. I don't think that they reproduce the happening on a literal timer aspect of King's Quest III in this game. And so this all brings me to saying that the one thing I think I do know is that there is going to be a lot of progress flagging because the day will pass based on me having done things and accomplished things. And then at different phases in the day, I'm probably going to have to constantly revisit some places. That's what my gut tells me, and I feel confident in that. But beyond that, I got nothing. I don't know any, like, oh, hey, you got to go on the other side of the room before you look at the closet, or, oh, hey, here's how to solve the cryptogram of this little gnome's stupid what's my name puzzle. We're on our own. We must face the perils without any foreknowledge. I've never played this game before. No one's ever spoken to me about this game in the real world before. Okay. Let's explore the Perils of Rosella. Alright. Based on the experiences, in particular, of King's Quest II, where I spent a lot of time swimming in those ocean screens wanting to find something, I think step 1, before I even start exploring this space, is I'm just curious if we have ocean screens here. Wait, but before I do that, and hey, that's cool. Tier depth at a pretty cool level. Nicely done. Given that I might find there's a bunch of ocean screens, but also Rosella drowns after X amount of swimming, perhaps it would be wise to say, setting forth. And just have a save that is just at the beginning state of the game. We don't have to rapid click through. Yeah, she got her mother's genes. All right, so sophisticated thing one. Our heroine, is wise enough to just start swimming when she goes into the water instead of being like, oh no, I'm drowning. What do I do? And also, yeah, there's ocean screens here. I'm not going to start the game by vigorously exploring the ocean. Oh, I sort of am. I'm going to die out there. But okay. All right. Right off the bat. There's gonna be something. Oh, hey. Roberta Williams just actually shows up in portrait to say thanks. That's fun. Okay. So, maybe this time the ocean means something. Because the ocean in King's Quest 2 didn't mean anything. There were like a bunch of screens you could explore. They were all identical. And the thing that got you under the ocean was just an event that happened on the beach. Maybe it's the same gimmick. But maybe we'll have to use it. I need to make a map. Maybe the magic map's going to come back. But maybe not. So I will just create a starting shore square in my grid map. And I'll adjust as I go. She took it to the real next level. And hello, Cuba. Ooh, from behind we get Rosella's. I don't think pigtails is the right word when they're going down your back. Double ponytails. But okay. You know what? Let's do the look thing. Thus far, well, the thing is, since I'm playing them in sequence right now, I don't know that we have more colors, but we have more pixels. And so I'm appreciating the prettiness here, but we'll see. I mean, certainly Sierra did some good things with the 16-color EGA standard. Like Quest for Glory Trial by Fire had some lovely graphics. Given that this game is going to take place over the course of the day, I think we can expect some... I will be very disappointed if we don't have excellent sky palette changes as the game goes on. I want to see a beautiful EGA sunset. Wistfully, you stare out over the ocean. Oh, the writing's taken a step up. This is just the look around description. Wishing you could go home and see your family again. Unfortunately, reality sets in and you remember your difficult situation. Turning your head, you look eastward towards a meadowland covered with wildfires and heave a big sigh of sadness. Wistful shore. I think the game is suggesting to me that head eastward first. Why not? Ooh. Like, obviously, one thing they've had to do with the more pixels here is do some... What's it called? It's not quite a gradient, but it's dithering? I don't know. Alternating the two greens to give the light shadow on the grass. A green meadowland filled with beautiful wildflowers surrounds you. No word on the trees. Actually, well, we can look directly at the tree in a sec, PJ, because we should do that. But the wildflowers are beautiful. Beautiful wildflowers. Okay. Look at trees. You see very few trees. Yeah, that's sure. I'll grant that. How about the flowers? Colorful wildflowers grow among the small rocks and bushes of the meadowland. Okay. I should see if there's a speed setting, but I don't know. she's got a very deliberate walk, but it's not as brutal as the standard walk speed in the other games. A gentle stream meanders its way through the trees. A rustic stone bridge crosses its path. Rustic stone bridge. Look at bridge. A rustic stone bridge adds a bit of charm to this part of the woods. Oh, I better grab my numpad, turn off the numlock. Let's see, do I have diagonal walking? Oops, I turned on the numlock. Yes, I do. Excellent. Also, is that an object I see under the bridge? You kneel down and peer under the bridge. Ah! You have found a small golden ball. You pick it up and carry it with you. I like that we have a discovery jingle now. Adds an extra little touch to getting some points. We're on the board. We only have 228 points to go for our perfect game, which I assume I will achieve on the first try with no hints. Okay, here we are. A screen of incident. You've come upon a cute little house built right into a huge tree. An old water wheel attached to the house goes unused beside the little river that flows gently before the house. This game, I believe, is 1988 or 1989. Boom. 1988. I'm far more accustomed to The Legend of Zelda, You've Solved a Puzzle jingle, but the same principle remains. The only time I ever customized a notification on my phone was to make my text message the Zelda Discovery jingle, which was charming for a short while, and then my cheap, crummy first smartphone could no longer queue a sound file fast enough, and so like my phone would vibrate and light up, and then like several seconds later a text message like often when I was reading the text message it would start playing the song. It just became disappointing. All right, tree house with water wheel. Hopefully I'll remember this is a tree house in a different sense than we commonly use the word. So okay, let's look at that water wheel. Appears run down. It's not currently in use. How about the house? Well, obviously someone's there. There's smoke coming out of the chimney. The roots of this great tree envelop a little snug house. Smoke lazily curls from its chimney, and an old rustic water wheel rests beside the river. Okay. Can I ford the river? Wait, let's test. Is there a speed that I will be happier with? Is faster a speed setting? Or am I just moving an invisible slider? I'm going to guess moving an invisible slider, and this works for me. This is a confident trot. Look at her. Boom. This is not a princess who's afraid of getting wet. You knock loudly on the small door. No answer. Well, given that there's always the possibility that you go into a stranger's house and they kill you immediately. This is the main room of the 7 Dwarves cozy treehouse. Okay. So there's a fairy tale connection. Well, so far, I do believe we have a picture of Rosella as a hyper-competent young lady. So I think what we should interpret, Tashtari, is that she's walked into this room and sees... No, wait. I was going to say she sees 7 place settings, but there are 8 place settings. And then judges from the size of the table and goes, 7 dwarves must live here. Why she knows that they should also be capitalized as a proper name. Yeah, maybe that's it. She grew up hearing tales of how her father bravely chased the seven dwarves out of Daventry. In a, maybe we'll get that story someday in King's Quest Gaiden. What a mess it is. It's a mess, eh? Well, Snow White might exist in this world. And if she doesn't... Okay, yeah, alright. I want to be clear. I used fairy tale logic and not anything I believe about the role of women and what they, Just want to be very clear. I think the seven dwarves should do their own housework. I gotta say, I wasn't expecting this level. Like, I thought maybe we'd get like Alexander cleaning the kitchen. Maybe it helps that I'm playing them this close together. This is pretty much what I expected. Get a broom out of the closet and sweep. A whole like scene. Ah, man. You hear the dwarves approaching. You watch quietly as the dwarves file in one by one, get a bowl of soup, and take a seat at the table. So they just have they are doing the thing that you hear sometimes, like this restaurant has been using the, it's the same curry and they've kept it going for many years. Okay. Yeah. My instincts only, like, if it wasn't the seven dwarves, and I wasn't like, probably we're not going to meet Snow White. Yeah, well, like, we can all have our blind spots. You can simultaneously be like, why shouldn't a girl go on an adventure? Why shouldn't a young man just play a game where he's playing his girl? A feminist position. But also not really examine when you're using fairy tales as your source material. The solution to this puzzle is that a young woman, before even meeting these guys, should see that they live in squalor and be like, well, I need to fix this for them. The dwarf must really be hungry. He's getting 2 bowls of soup. Or is he going to offer Rosella one? Nope. Although that explains why there are 8 place settings. The 7 dwarves seem very pleased that you tidied their messy home. One politely asks you your name. You tell him, and he cordially invites you to sit down. Okay, good. Sit down next to them, with them, and eat the bowl of soup he got for you. Alright, but why were there 2 bowls of soup before then? Is this literally their whole thing? Just like, they just rely on just, every now and then a young woman's going to show up and clean our house for us. It's just how it works here in Tamir. I can see a child. Like, it's totally understandable. I don't think your young self, Cedric, should be embarrassed about taking a while to solve the puzzle, because, like, doing chores sucks. Children are very well aware of this. Alright, so we're eating. Is something going to happen? Or am I supposed to say, like, talk to dwarves? The worst thing that can happen is it says, well, I don't understand. You politely talk to the dwarf nearest you. Where are you from, Rosella? He asks. You tell him, Daventry. Dwarf thinks for a moment. Never heard of it. Great. I don't know if this is a thing in the text parser. Ask about Lolotte? This game does not understand ask. Thank you for just coming right out and clarifying that. Does it understand about? No. Thank you. Okay. Goodbye and thanks for the soup, they call. You call. Oh, goodbye and thanks for the soup, you call as they take their leave. Okay, I mean, you know what? That's a form of payment. And hopefully also they are going to do something at a critical point in the story. This is just 5 points you can get if you remember to really get into the mindset of role-playing a girl. You finished your soup also. It was the best soup you've ever tasted. Maybe though, you were just really hungry. Yeah, both of those things could be true. Oh god. Yeah. Wait, okay. Let's all dearly hope that this is a separate bespoke cleaning scene and not that I've re-triggered the entire cutscene we just watched. Phew! I hope that's the last of it. Maybe it's actually a classism thing. Rosella's like, yeah, I'm supposed to appear as a peasant. What do peasants do? Well, the peasants are who do all the chores. There are many ways in which this situation could be a little problematic. I don't feel like robbing their house is indicated yet. But who knows? Maybe I will come to regret later. Ah, man. If only I had the super strong waistband of a pair of dwarven boxer shorts, I could swing across this cliff or something. You know what? Instead of treehouse with water wheel, I'm going to change that map square to say Dwarves house. Okay. You're walking through a forest thick with pine trees. A nearby river rushes westward from the distant mountain range. In the distance, you see a large house. Thick pine forest. Cool. Well, instead of being systematic, I'm going to follow the appearance of points of interest. This house seems less friendly. Indeed, this is a spooky old house. It looks as if no one has lived here for many years. Flanking the old house on both sides is a rundown cemetery. A thick forest looms all around. Spooky old house. Okay. It's not a pleasant house. In fact, it's downright scary. It looks old and abandoned, badly in need of tender loving care. To make matters worse, it sits right in the middle of an old cemetery. What about these trees? Are these trees beautiful in their... Maybe we're we're getting more sophisticated in our graphical approach and our sound design. Maybe we can get also more sophisticated in our literary references. We're sitting up there just chowing down on some wedding cake. Actually, no, Miss Havisham's not literally eating her stale wedding cake. I'm just embellishing that, right? It has been a while since I've read Great Expectations. Okay. This seems a lot more perilous than the last time I knocked on a door and then receiving no response broke into the house. Try another way to say that. Is there a door knocker? Look at door. Okay. This is not the kind of door that you just knock on. Alright. It's definitely spooky. It's the entry room of the old house. Downstairs, you see 2 open doorways. Upstairs, you see an additional 2 doorways. The room is cobwebbed and dusty, with wallpaper peeling from the walls. How about that clock? An old grandfather clock sits in the corner. With each swing of its pendulum, time marches relentlessly on. Well, hold on. Can we open it? Nothing of interest in there. Thank you for being forthright. You notice two interesting portraits above the downstairs doorways. One of a middle-aged woman and the other of a young man. You wonder who they are. I do wonder that. Rosella's walk is really working for me. It really, on its own, even if we hadn't had that more elaborate intro, it really it provides characterization. She is plucky. If you had any doubt about whether the first female hero in the King's Quest series would be plucky, don't worry. She is. Look at the way she walks. You look in the broken mirror and see the reflection of a poor but beautiful peasant girl. Healthy self-esteem. Oh, we should always see if we can look under a rug. Tattered rug lies on the floor. Doesn't understand roll. Alright, probably no rug gimmick there. But who knows. Ooh, I don't know why that's the first time I noticed our scene transitions. They're pretty cool. The old dining room has seen better days. Also, the constrained view. Also, look, that's a good way to, all right, we've gone from wide open space to confined space. This old dining room has seen better days. The long table is littered with crumbs and dust, and against the wall, the empty hutch is covered with cobwebs. Oh, but how empty is it? A tarnished chandelier hangs above the dining table. Pardon me. Dusty old table is littered with crumbs. Better get those just in case. Have no use for crumbs. Alright. We're not going to go into a maze in the forest that you can only solve by leaving crumbs. You can't do that now. Can't do that. There's nothing of interest in the hutch. Okay, alright. I get it. I will take the hint. Very real chance that the spooky house's relevance to our adventure comes closer to nighttime. The old kitchen is quite bare. The fireplace has been cold for years, and the dusty pantry is empty, but for old crumbs. We have no use for crumbs. Is that a butter churn? If it is, we're at least not going to be churning butter. Barrel is empty. You can't use it. Doesn't understand stepladder. Well, why'd you draw a big stepladder right there? Alright. We're not going to need to capture any sort of air demon inside of a bellows. See nothing special. Really? Like we shouldn't just take that candle just in case? That could not possibly come in handy at any point. Okay. Really good chance, I think, that we're just getting some atmosphere right now. But you know what? It's atmospheric. It's working. I'm enjoying exploring this house even though I'm not finding anything, and I'm starting to kind of suspect I won't. That's a freaky portrait. But this room is actually comparatively well maintained. Considering the disarray... See? Good work, artists. Considering the disarray of the rest of the house, the parlor looks in relatively good order. However, the fireplace is cold and unused. Bookshelves are almost bare. The old furnishings are dusty. Almost bare, you say? You examine a few remaining books on the shelves. Only one catches your attention. It's entitled The Complete Works of William Shakespeare. Okay. You remove the Shakespeare book from the shelf and carry it with you. All right. So if at any point we are challenged by some miscreant to quickly recite, "Shall I compare thee to a summer's day?" We're ready. All right. I constantly like to bring up this joke that I made decades ago now. Oh, that's a great idea. I am amazed, methinks, and lose my way among the thorns and dangers of this world. How sour sweet music is when time is broke and no proportion kept. So is it in the music of men's lives. Okay, Rosella knows where to find her 2 favorite quotes. No! Okay. Waffle syrup! Welcome! Kiss me, Kate. We'll be married a Sunday. Alright, there's a limit to how long we should do this. But let's do a few more. Oh man, that scene, Tashtari, just it's so good. Like, not only just because it's like an awesome scene, plays really well on the stage, plays well in film, it's hilarious to read, and it really captures something about young men that I think remains perpetually relevant. Of comfort no man speak. Let's talk of graves, of worms, and epitaphs. Make dust our paper, and with rainy eyes write sorrow on the bosom of the earth. Let's choose executors, and talk of wills. One more for now. This bud of love, by summer's ripening breath, may prove a beauteous flower when next we meet. And when next we meet, maybe we'll get even different quotes. Fireplace hasn't been used in years. Okay, good. Search is recognized by the parser, but does not appear to be distinct from look. Which makes sense. The time that I looked under bridge, Rosella did a search. I constantly want to call Rosella Rosalina. But so far, so good. An interesting portrait of a young girl hangs above the fireplace. You gaze at it intently and notice that her eyes seem to stare at the left wall of the parlor. Oh, do they now? Well, hold on. That is not understood. You examine the left wall very closely and notice a little latch. You're not close enough. You flip the latch in the wall, and behold! You have discovered a secret door. Hell yes. But hold on. There's nothing of interest in the dusty old cabinet. Leave it alone, Rosella. The old divan is still in pretty good shape. A bit dusty, though. Okay. The furniture is old and dusty. I am fascinated to find out how the complete works of Shakespeare are going to come into play in this quest. Yeah. Well, Rosella has presumably been trained since birth to climb stairs. So maybe we'll be okay. Maybe. That's part of why she always walks so deliberately. You found a secret tower. Narrow steps spiral dizzyingly upward. You notice a shovel leaning against the wall. A secret tower? Like, it's not just visible from the outside. Okay. But hey, free shovel. And go get some gardening work done for the dwarves. You can do it, Rosella. Oh, God. We can do this, Rosella. You and me together. Vedev! Welcome. Alright. Yeah, this old house has become terrifying now. It's, just to give you some context, folks, up switched from what it normally does, which is walk north or towards the top of the screen, to walk up the stairs. So to navigate that spiral, I had to adapt to the controls being different. And yet they've returned once I'm out of the spiral. So at the very end there, I had to go north on the stairs. Yikes. And yet, we found the extremely ominous secret organ hidden in the secret tower of the creepy old house. Yeah. A dusty old pipe organ sits in the center of the tower room. Is that a flute on the floor? Or is that just nothing of interest on the floor? Okay. The candles are probably also not interesting. And the candles are nothing. Okay. Here we go. You're not sitting at the organ. Roberta. I typed the word clean, and Rosella did everything. But she can't figure out how to sit at the organ. It would be better to move to the inside of the bench. Oh my goodness. Fine. Alright. Rosella's a princess. She should be pretty good at playing a keyboard instrument. Yeah. That's actually what the piece of music she is playing is it's called Triumph Over Stairs. It was commissioned by King Ram. It's one of his first acts as King of Daventry. What a virtuoso you are, Rosella. Well, perhaps at some point I will find the score to a magical song or something. I pressed down, causing Rosella to turn and face away from me. Because, temporarily, down means go downstairs. Imagine a brave new world where the text parser could recognize the phrase, go up the stairs. And then that exact organ song could play during the cutscene. Does that torch look like a secret switch? Nope. Ah, you know what? It's not clear. Pull torch. Take torch. It's firmly attached. Okay, great. Awesome. That feels like it's got to matter at some point. Firmly attached to the wall. All right. Passive voice is forbidden. Oh, hey, those stairs were automatic. It took control away from me for a moment to play the stair climbing cutscene. For the tiny stairs that are easy to navigate. Creepy old bedroom. This old bedroom must have once been very nice. You could imagine a cheery fire in the fireplace while its occupants slept snugly in the big bed. But sadly, this room has been abandoned for years. Well, You can't do that now. Open door. Can't do that. Look in fireplace. Fireplace has been cold for years. There's nothing there. I wonder, like, maybe I've just gotten really good at climbing stairs in King's Quest, but I didn't die on those stairs. Like, maybe Rosella, maybe that's what she's really learned. Just when you're coming up to the edge of the stairs, you can stop. You don't have to commit to every direction you decide to walk in, to the point of your own death. Can't do that. Chest of drawers is empty. Great. The old bed still looks comfortable. Look at the ceiling. You look up at the ceiling and notice a closed trap door. It's true. It's high level. You're playing at expert level on the day that you discover that there's diagonal movement. And while the stairs are always hard, they're actually a little bit easier than you've been led to believe. Wait. A large old chest of drawers rests against the wall. Okay, I don't see anything on top of it when I look from here. Look at curtain. Doesn't understand. Look at rod. Does not understand. Okay, so I'm not going to take the curtain rod and use it to get the trapdoor. Worn rug lies beneath the bed. No, okay. So also look under bed. Nothing under the bed. Okay, it did understand that. Okay. Okay. I don't have any ideas for how I could use the complete works of Shakespeare or a gold ball or a shovel. I mean, I can see how you could use a shovel, but I don't think that's going to be the answer. I think I will use the shovel to dig or to smash someone in the head. And probably the former. Okay. This is a big sub area. It appears this was once the master bedroom. However, cobwebs hang everywhere, and dust covers the furniture. Instead of sweeping under the bed, you just have to pull the rug out and beat it. Maybe. The old bed is massive and dominates the room. Nothing under the bed. I thought maybe I could look in the covers or something. The chest of drawers sporting a broken mirror sets against the wall. The drawers are empty. Rosella is still beautiful wherever she goes. The lamp is old and dusty. Doesn't understand desk. See nothing special. Okay. Tattered oriental rug covers the floor at the foot of the bed. Okay. There's no looking under rugs so far. Oh, and then a nursery off the master bedroom. This old baby nursery must have once been a cheery place. Now, through neglect, cobwebs decorate the corners, wallpaper peels from the walls, and dust covers the nursery furniture. There's an old rocking horse here. You're too big for it. You imagine the mother who must have rocked her baby in this rocking chair. That's evocative. See an empty cradle here. I call it a crib. See nothing special. Not even this open drawer. It's empty. Okay. Okay. Well, we have an organ that we don't know what it does, a trapdoor we don't know how to open. Perhaps there's a special song that opens the trapdoor. But also, perhaps, later on, perhaps later at night, there will be ghosts in the spooky house. Very possible. I certainly am not ruling that out. All right, let's go west to the western portion of the cemetery. Whoa. That's a hollow tree. There could be like 6 items in that hollow tree. Also, there's a big... Is that a knocked over gravestone, that cross on the ground? This rundown, gloomy cemetery gives you the creeps. Many of the old tombstones have fallen over, and the entire place is overgrown with grass and weeds. Should I clean it up? No. Many graves with crumbling tombstones litter the old cemetery. What about that horrifying tree? An old rotting tree adds appropriate charm to the decrepit cemetery. I don't know that I'd use the word charm, but cemetery, parentheses, rotted tree. You're not close enough. That's promising. There's nothing of importance in the old tree. Fine. At the moment, there's nothing of importance. But who knows? Woo! We got a special song here. Numerous water lilies float serenely upon the lovely little pond nestled in these woods. Atop one of the bigger lily pads, you notice a rather large frog, wearing a little gold crown. Is there any way we can apply fairy tale logic to a crown-wearing frog? Of course, there's also extreme potential for a reversal of expectations here. But lovely little pond. I don't see... Oh, I see the frog. He's a little guy, but he's there. He's officially here. Large frog stares back at you, big bulging eyes. Oops, scared the frog away. Okay, will he come back? Yes. Ribbit, ribbit. Well, what else did you expect from a frog? That's fair. Can I just, can I blow the frog a kiss? First need to get the frog. Okay. Probably the frog doesn't care about the gold ball. But hold on. What if this frog just loves golden balls? Could it be a gift? Probably not. You accidentally drop the golden ball into the pond. From atop a lily pad, a large green frog leaps into the water and disappears from view. A moment later, the frog emerges with, yes, your lost ball in its mouth. It seems as if the frog is kindly returning your gold ball to you. Okay. Thanks, man. Thank you. Take ball. Not close enough. Take the ball. Thank you, noble frog. Wait, no, hold on. Hold on. I haven't given you your reward. Well, this is going to seem... Oops, you scared the frog away. Alright. Hopefully... hopefully the frog doesn't find this obnoxious. But we'll get him to retrieve it for me again. And this time, before I take the ball, I will see if I can kiss him. Well, listen, she grew up with her father telling her stories of his adventures. So it's perfectly reasonable for her to be like, Well, if I'm gonna get across those mountains and save Father, I'm gonna need to just do a bunch of shit. Just see what happens. Take every small object I can carry. Squinching up your nose in disgust, you catch the large frog and hold it in your hand. It stares at you with its big bulgy eyes and wobbles its throat. You look at the frog's green lips. Good. You feel silly doing this as you slowly put your mouth against the frog's. Hold on. Hold on. When I've always been picturing a kiss on the top of the head, turning the frog back into the prince, was I supposed to picture like, no, you gotta make out with that frog? I've totally misinterpreted children's stories in this regard, up until just now. I hope he does not slip us some tongue. Boom! It's a really handsome dude. Alright, that checks out. Who are you? The prince demands. I thought you were supposed to be a princess. Why, you're nothing more than a peasant girl. You blanch a bit at that remark, but say nothing. Well, ta-ta, he says. I'm off. Here, you may keep this. To your surprise, he tosses the little golden crown to you as he takes his leave. Good riddance, you think. That's well done. That's a good twist. And a more self-aware feminist approach to bringing fairy tale logic in than just having Rosella spontaneously clean the dwarves' house for them. Yeah, there's something strange is afoot, and I'll keep my golden ball too, because you never know. All right. Small crown, no descriptive text. Shakespeare book, checks out. Gold ball, yes. Yep. That's what that looks like. Oh, wait. Cool. I can also select from the inventory menu. Neat. We're almost back to the shore. And then I guess I'll go one step north and start heading back east. The scent of wildflowers fills the air in the lovely green meadow. Better be a second text box here commenting on the fact there's a dude. No. You see a rather jaunty looking fellow who appears to be a wandering minstrel. He seems to be a lute player. We're pushed by Matchbox 20. Yeah, hold on. The description gave us no sense of the degree of... I guess we're going to figure out how spoony this guy is by actually talking to him. Excuse me, sir. Scale of 1 to 10. How spoony would you say you are? You say hello to the minstrel, who looks at you with surprise. Well, well. Who do we have here? He asks. You introduce yourself as Rosella. Hello, Rosella, the minstrel says. Let me play for you one of my favorite tunes. Ding, 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 ding. Today was gonna be the day they're gonna throw it back to you. By now you should have somehow realised what you got to do. Begins to play an old ballad. I think it does. At the very least, like, it's a mid... at most, it's mid-tempo. Unfortunately, it appears that his musical skills are quite limited, and he plucks and pings his way through an otherwise beautiful song. He can't do the accent as well as me, so it just doesn't come across. Maybe you're gonna be the one that saves me. Cool. Well, thank you. Is there follow-up dialogue? You unthinkingly speak to the minstrel again, who immediately begins playing another bad rendition of a favorite oldie but goodie. Well played, Roberta. Well played. Is that a desert to the north? Oh, hey! There's a fisherman. I love playing the guitar. I've not played my guitar in years. I should probably play it at some point. Although I don't think I'll be playing Wonderwall. A sparkling white sand beach edges a vast blue ocean. Turning to the east, you see a lush, flowery meadow. Okay. I'll just call this beach. No. I was curious. Can I ask for a description of the object in the distance? A poor fisherman's shanty adorns this part of the coastline. A pier stretches from the house out into the ocean to the west. You see a pretty meadowland off to the east. Fisherman's shanty. Now, we already saw that this fellow is on the dock fishing, so I will introduce myself before I break into his house. An old rusted anchor leans against the wall of the house. I'm not thinking that's an object I can take. If it is, I still shouldn't take it until I've at least met the fisherman. There's a lot of pieces of music in this game. You're standing at the end of an old weathered pier. From here to the west, you can see nothing but ocean. I wonder if at some point, from the beach or from a dock or from anywhere, I'll say look and it'll be like, you kind of see something. You say a few words to the old fisherman. However, he must have other things on his mind as he seems to ignore you. This fisherman may be a bit high, given that he can't even tell I'm here. Ah, and he disappeared. He's not walking back to his own home. Well, without even turning his head or acknowledging her in any way, he can get the sense of a beautiful peasant girl. And, you know, she's putting her whole body into her walk. You knock loudly on the shanty. A woman's voice answers, "Just come on in." Alright. Look. The inside of the fisherman's shack looks almost as shabby as the outside. Doesn't look bad. And we know that the artists can make a place look shabby, because we were just in that rundown house. You see a tired-looking woman knitting at the table. How you doing, dear? You introduce yourself to the old fisherman's wife. With little patience, she responds, "What are you doing here, young lady? Can't you see I'm busy? We have enough problems without worrying about you." Hold on. Can we get a second? He might have just been like, wait, hold on a second. There is a young woman here. She's going towards my house. You know, maybe I'll just keep on fishing for a little bit. I don't need to be there while my wife yells at this young lady. You try to talk pleasantly to the tired-looking woman, but your words fall on deaf ears. She is obviously annoyed by your presence. You told me to come in. I must insist. At least the stove keeps it warm in here. Yeah. fish on the wall. Indeed. See a cupboard filled with canned goods. Oh yeah. See nothing special? What about that bed? The lumpy bed looks old and uninviting. Yeah? Cool. I'm thinking for now, we know there's a situation. Now that I've talked to his wife, can I talk to him? Probably not. Oh wait, I can't queue up an input. Unless... the first time in my entire life, and really like until I started doing pixel art, which your mileage may vary, but I like some of the pixel art. The only good thing I ever drew in my life was the swordfish. So not quite a marlin, but the swordfish en garde from Donkey Kong Country. It was a reproduction. I didn't like come up with a new thing for en garde to look like. But I actually managed to do like some shading that looked right. I was like, all right, okay, I've had a breakthrough here. And then I never did another good thing at drawing until I was 37, 36. So put a pin in this. Look, beautiful green meadow, dotted with wildflowers, serves as the fisherman's spacious backyard. The flower's sweet scent fills the air. This is excellent pixel art. Nothing I have produced is on this level. Oh, wait, hold on. Meadow. You've entered a shady wooded area, with birds calling from the many trees. You notice a pool in the distance to the north. So, shady wooded area. But also, I'm going to need to add a row to my sheet here, which I have now done. Well, we see a pool. Let's go. I'm inclined to say we're not going to have wraparounds anywhere. Do you do art? Do you make art, PJ? What kind of art do you make? The beautiful pool, with its elegant marble columns, has a wonderful setting in these woods. The water looks so cool and inviting, you're almost tempted to jump in. So am I, that I jump in and... I don't know. Beautiful pool is... okay. Nothing of interest in the water. Okay. Do I automatically climb out? No. There are steps at the north end of the pool. I used to joke that the only thing I'm good at is stick figures. And it wasn't true. I can't do anything with... like, I could draw a stick figure, but I can't make them do anything. Okay, there's a large pool. Oh, yeah. Pool with columns. This feels like a later in the day kind of thing. Might as well go west a couple steps, see if there was anything. Probably not. Surrounded by beautiful wildflowers, lush meadowland. Wait. It would waste your precious time to stop and pick flowers. You should be using your time wisely. Kissing frogs. Cleaning strangers' homes for them. What's that in the north? A narrow strip of beach borders a vast ocean which stretches off to the west. A pretty green meadow, dotted with bunches of wildflowers, goes to the east. Meadow. Beach. Ah. It's just a rock. Well, here's where a stream, a river coming from the east, spills into the blue ocean before you. From atop the bluff, a lovely meadow stretches eastward. I need another row. Is this because it's a very big map, or because there's not that much south of the starting shore? Or if we already wrapped around, I'm about to come back to the starting shore. I don't feel like I am, but I guess we'll find out. Okay. River mouth. I'll call this one. For some variety. Well, now I actually want to just go north and find out. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. This is the starting screen. Right? Yep. Okay. Well, delete that row. We do have a wraparound. So I think we are back in the... Well, both King's Quest 2 and 3 did this thing too. Wrapping around north-south, but not east-west. And I think that's what we got going on here. Okay, cool. Well, what if I had just gone east from the start? A river, go figure. Anything notable about these trees? Look, trees. You see very few trees, it's true. Scattered rocks lie among the wildflowers of the meadow. Cold water of the river rushes westward. Okay, river. So we're only 5 screens tall. Makes me expect it to be either pretty wide or for there to be a unicorn. You're wandering through a thick wood. You hear birds chirping from the many trees. Feels like a key detail is missing from this description. You see a beautiful wild unicorn in the meadow. Its coat is dapple gray, and its wonderful horn shines like gold. The unicorn shies at your approach and trots away. Meadow, parentheses, unicorn. Well, let's save, just in case this is another reversal of expectations. You know, you follow the unicorn, it gets annoyed, and it kills you. I will never not assume that Roberta Williams is planning to kill me at any moment. Okay, this is weird. No sign of the unicorn, but see a crude mine shaft in the midst of this forest of pine trees. Well, hey. I might have just done a real solid for the miners in question. I wonder if they have, I can now benefit from that by visiting them at work. Diamonds glitter and sparkle from the earthen walls of the 7 Dwarves' diamond mine. Within it, you see the little men busily at work. Hey, boys. You endeavor to engage in conversation with the small men, but they're too busy to reply. Really? Any notable diamonds? No. You see the 7 Dwarves, well, representatives thereof, toiling away with their picks and shovels, extracting the plentiful diamonds from their underground mine. Okay. Well, for now, that's interesting. Let's keep mapping. Oh! I found a house. Which should be directly to the west of the pool. Excellent. Wait a minute. This doesn't seem good. Is this guy just gonna kill me? Oh no, you're caught! The terrible ogre grabs you by the braids and drags you off to an untimely end. Dinner will definitely be on you tonight. This is upsetting. But is it game over? Or is it a... Yes, it is. Alright, fair enough, Roberta. I forgot my own rule. I've never, even for a moment, stopped thinking that you're about to be killed. But it seems we also have the familiar gimmick. And also we know the owner of the house. That's an ogre house. I'm inclined to say this is not going to bear fruit right now. Well, let's check. While he's not here, can we take stuff from the outside of his home? See a large thatched roof house surrounded by a forest. It looks very formidable. It might be wise to use caution here. There's nothing about looking at this house in particular that's like, oh, better be cautious here. Not the big scary house in the middle of the graveyard, but this one. But it's good gameplay advice. Okay, look at torches. Look at logs. Look at wood. What are these objects? Nothing good can come from actually entering this home. There's nothing in the pail. Can't get it. Lumber, that's a thought. Didn't work out, but it was worth trying. Take things. No. Is it an axe and I'm missing the... I have to take a different approach. Yes. Well, for the moment, it really does look like there are two things there. No good can come of entering this ogre home. There's nothing in the pail. I know that. Move pail. Not understood. Try another way to say that. Can't get that. Okay. Probably there's not a key under the pail, but maybe there is. Our conclusion is that. Okay. Into the woods of pine cones, it appears. Oh no. The ogre can spawn on areas near his home as well. Thick pine forest. Whoop. Thick pine forest without a mistakenly capitalized O in the word forest. Cool. Also, this next place looked freaky. This place gives you the willies. The trees around here are very strange, almost human-like. A dense forest surrounds this odd grove of trees. Grove of tree men. Okay. First, let's try the stand here for a moment and see if the trees are talking to each other in a creepy way. Let's also throw in a save. Save us walking a few screens if these trees, are like Evil Dead trees. Hello, friendly trees, right? They don't know how to talk. Okay. But they do know how to murder. Okay. Evil Dead trees. Oh, wow. You're right, Cedric. That's suggestive for sure. Talk about being torn limb from limb. We have more bespoke death animations this time. And really, if you're gonna constantly kill us, give us some bespoke animations to enjoy. Okay. Well, this will now take me... Here's what I'll do. Because going down would just take me back to the cemetery. But if I get this screen without the ogre, I can head east. More tree men. Or are these man trees? Creepy place. Found a grove of very odd and scary looking trees. Thick forest surrounds the grove. Ah! Oh! Well done, PJ. It is indeed a mangrove forest. Which, by the way, is just a really cool type of environment. You're walking through a forest thick with pine trees. A nearby river rushes westward from the distant mountain range. In the distance, you see a large house. Yeah, we've been here, but hold on. Did I notice that bird? A pretty robin pulls hungrily at a long earthworm. Well, perhaps I should get involved. Oops. Excuse me, are you a talking worm and you're grateful I saved you? See a fat worm wriggling on the ground. I have one worm now. Perhaps I can score some points with that fisherman. Just like Rosella there. Okay, cool. Great. This is the... don't want to go south from here, because I will wrap around and be killed in the mangrove. Dense forest. So I guess the main thing about these trees is they look dense. I gotta say, thus far, I'm not really blown away by the solar eclipse that is supposed to be cresting right now. I was planning to take an intermission at what was supposed to be the height of the eclipse. But I completely forgot there was going to be an eclipse because the light coming into my home didn't change in any way. You know what? I'm going to take a tiny intermission, folks, to go ask Danielle if I stupidly actually just missed an eclipse. Hang tight. Alright, well, our verdict was at official peak time, which is 5-10 minutes hence. I'll take a slightly longer intermission, and we're going to go to the terrace and see if, for some reason, it's more eclipsy there. I'm skeptical of Danielle's theory, but we're going to try it. But for now, it doesn't feel like a spectacular cosmic event. Hey, here's the foot of the mountain. A mountain range rises to the east from the forest. A narrow path winds steeply up the side of it. Well, we might as well go up the northern screens before I start climbing mountains. Ooh. You see a beautiful waterfall cascading down the mountain into the pool. Waterfall. From the pool, a river courses westward. Around you, a dense forest closes in. This is a magnificent waterfall. It tumbles into a deep pool, which then flows westward as a rushing river. Very nice. Let's, after saving, just in case this drowns me, find out if there is a cave. The force of the water pushes you back. Well, hold on. I'm not thwarted yet. I'm thwarted. You don't like climbing rocks. Just go behind the waterfall? Okay. Somewhere up the mountain I can like push a rock into this river or something. Ooh. This is a scary old cemetery. Oh, of course it is. Yeah, it's the eastern part of the cemetery. Many of the tombstones are crumbling or falling over, and the entire place is overgrown with weeds. A mountain range looms to the east, and all around, a forest encroaches. Cemetery east. And of course we have a crypt here. How odd! You see a crypt door built right into the mountainside. In fact, instead of cemetery east, cemetery mountain crypt. Well, this feels perilous for young Rosella. Many graves with crumbling tombstones litter the old cemetery. The stone crypt is built into the mountainside. Well, let's throw caution to the wind. Crypt door is closed. The door is locked. Okay, that's fair. Okay. Put a pin in... Oh, wait, hold on. An interesting statue of a lion is mounted above the crypt door. It's difficult to climb while wearing that dress. The game trying to tell me not to look for climbing solutions? I just want to know if the lion has a key in its mouth. Or if it's just on the ground. Numerous graves, of course. More tree fellows. You've come across a bizarre group of scary human-like trees. Alright. I'm inclined to say that if I go back down south to wrap around, I'll discover that the top right square of the west of the mountains area is also a grove of scary tree men. But we might as well confirm that theory, and then we'll be at the foot of the mountain while I take a brief adventure in the real world to find out if this eclipse... Wait! Is there no way to go down and wrap around here? Okay. Well then, that suggests... Good morning, GamerPro202. Welcome. Showed up just in time for a brief intermission. It will be brief, but yeah, because I don't know. I don't know if we're getting a good Eclipse experience here. But Danielle wants to go take a look, so we're going to go take a look. Yeah, the first intermission was to go down and say, has there been any kind of Eclipse action? And then Danielle was like, well, no, but I think we have to go on the terrace to see it. And I said, I don't think that's how it works. But she said, well, we should check. And fair play. So we're going to walk to the terrace and probably almost immediately come back. Hang tight, gang. I'll be right back with you. Confirmed, it's a bust. We're back at it. Alright, sorry about that interruption. Let's climb this mountain. See what happens. Uh-oh. Lolotte's goons. The treacherous path winds narrowly around the craggy mountain. In the distance, perched upon a rocky ledge, you see a dark, unfriendly castle. But also, here's the thing coming to kill me. So far, this could be an event rather than a death. Yep. Well, my pets, Lolotte hisses. What have you drug home today? Lolotte gives you the once over, and as she does, her red eyes begin to narrow. Are you a foolish girl who wandered here by mistake? Or are you a spy sent here by my enemy, Genesta? You swear to Lolotte that you are nothing but a poor peasant girl who has lost her way, but she doesn't seem to believe you, as her mouth begins to snarl and her eyes narrow to mere slits. Alright, so we've got some characters. Not that we didn't have characters in the last one, but for the first time, you experience real fear and begin to tremble. Lolotte snarls. You don't look stupid enough to have wandered here. I believe you're a spy. Take her to the cell. Boom. Okay, this is an ominous cell indeed. Like, Manannan was the first time that it really felt like an NPC was like a character in a story that you were interacting with, as opposed to a puzzle piece NPC that you were just solving. But really, most of the development, you hear the henchmen returning. Perhaps they are setting you free. This doesn't seem likely. The henchman motions you to follow him out of the cell. Well, if I was supposed to do something... In fact, hold on. Actually, wait. I guess I might as well see what happens. Lolotte gives you a sickly sweet look. You're lucky, my dear, she coos. My precious son Edgar has taken a liking to you, and he believes you. He's convinced me to give you a chance to prove your innocence. You glance at the homely young man standing next to Lolotte. He blushes. Lolotte continues. I wish to own the unicorn that inhabits the Meadowland. Bring me the unicorn, and I shall not only set you free, but will reward you as well. To her henchman, Lolotte orders, Go! Take her back to the forest. Okay. I think we were right to explore everything else before going there. However, during the brief moment that I had free run of the place, what was? Like going up the mountain and getting caught? Oh, were you constantly loading or running away instead of letting yourself get caught? But hold on. During this brief time... Yep. See nothing special. But I do. You find yourself in a horrible cell. Looks as if others have found their way here too. Hopefully you won't end up like them. What is this? A table? See nothing special. Look at device. Look at wheel. I want that thing on the ground. Do we have clicking on stuff in the game? No. Two unfortunate individuals have met the end here. Oh. Can't get that. Okay. Hold on. They're coming back. Well, just a minute. Just a minute, boys. Wouldn't it be just the thing, right? Hold on. Take whip. The whip is securely attached to the wall. Besides, you wouldn't want it. Take stick? No. Chains are securely attached to the wall. What the hell is that thing? It is a skull that I just can't take. Once more. Can't get it. Okay. Alright. Obviously, I'm going to maintain this in case it turns out that that's a 10-second window to avoid an unwinnable state. But okay. Now, I have a unicorn to hunt. What do unicorns like? Doesn't feel like any of this stuff is unicorn appealing, but... So there might be, a few steps involved here. Oh! Excuse me, horror trees. Does the unicorn always spawn? Is something... Okay, is anything different now? I should revisit points of interest as well. Diamonds, men at work. They don't want to talk. Alright, boys, I'll be back. Or perhaps it's just now to wait till later when they're off work. It's okay, Rosella, you're okay. That wasn't even she didn't even spill. She caught herself. This is where I met the unicorn the first time. So I'll come back in from the west and do a couple of screen flips. Uh-oh. No luck. One second. My phone just made sounds. Nope. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. Okay. Whew. Alright. No, everything's okay. Everything's alright. Well, the unicorn is not reappearing. It went off into the forest. I can explore the forest more. But... weird. Not sure what was up with that particular screen flip trigger, but we're okay. I think having a worm suggests is that a death fall? Yeah, okay, there. I found a way to kill Rosella with clumsiness. And falsify the theory that Rosella knows not to walk over ledges of grave height. Like father, like daughter. Like brother, for that matter. Hey, good catch, Rosella. I like that the game knows it knows different heights. Rosella can spill out, but then be okay after a moment. She can die. She can fall to her death. But she can also just she can land. Okay. I think the quickest way to the Fisherman's Shanty is actually this way. There's a pool, but this time there's a cherub. Or a cupid. Baby Cupid beats his little wings furiously as he flies through the air. In his chubby hands, he carries a golden bow and 2 golden arrows. Okay. And he puts them down, and he goes for a swim. It feels... Oh no, you've startled Cupid. Wait. Cupid, don't leave your bow and arrows. Cupid only wants to get away from you. Well, now it's not stealing. Now it's making sure that nobody steals from it. You're not close enough. Oh, come on. Well, does it count as skinny dipping if you're just always nude? Oh, good. We have the press space to get back your last thing feature that I've been missing from the Quest for Glory games with text parsers. Okay. Ding ding. Revisiting points of interest. And perhaps, although she wants to own the unicorn, not mount it on her wall. So, and also just, I don't think the solution was ever going to be hunt the unicorn. Who's this rather dashing thrower of babies from? And now there's a satyr. Okay, so when the plot advances, we really absolutely do need to crawl over. Aha! I should have put that together, just from context. You see a lively creature, who is, at the same time, both man and goat. He is a satyr, and his name is Pan. He seems to be greatly enjoying his flute music. I don't have a musical instrument. I just know of a guy who's bad at playing his. Excuse me, Pan. You attempt to speak to Pan, but he pays you no mind. He's too wrapped up in his flute music. This is okay. Meadow. Pan. So even like non-points of interest can become points of interest as the plot advances. That's cool. Feels like, yeah, we don't have a pure satyr here. And I suppose like we should be glad we don't have the purest like OG Greek mythology satyr here, because it's going to take a King's Quest in a direction we don't necessarily want it to go. Those are not the kind of perils I envisioned for Rosella. Okay. Exactly. Speaking of OG mythology with wretched behavior, there's a scene in Ovid's Metamorphoses where some centaurs get drunk at a party and then a brawl breaks out. Just like hilarious and awful and oh man, the Metamorphoses are so good. I should reread the Metamorphoses. Alright. Well, can we score some points by giving this man a worm? He managed to catch a fish. Makes his wife happy. Everybody wins. The fisherman ignores you. What if I just drop the worm? Can't do that. Well, he's definitely going to ignore me if I talk to him. Okay. This feels wrong. Try another way to say that. Yeah, okay. Hold on. Now that you're standing, sir? No, he does not care. Can I get out of his way and actually allow a scene to progress? Ah. Yes. Oh. The fisherman's worn and tattered wife sits at the table with her husband talking. The fisherman's pole has been set into the corner. Talk to the man. You talk to the grizzled fisherman. He sits at the table. Sighing, he tells you, "Them fish ain't been biting lately. If things don't get bitter soon, I don't know what to do." You try to talk pleasantly to the old woman, but she's just annoyed. Okay. Well, I still feel like the worm is the key here. I could be wrong, but I feel like I'm probably right. So there's a couple ways this could work, which is why I've saved in case the fisherman will just kill me when I take fishing rod. Take pole. You can't take the pole. Okay. So it's not about catching the fish for them. What if you had some bait, sir? Have you considered baiting your hook? They look at it in interest and then they shrug and shake their heads. Okay. Well, the fish aren't biting. He doesn't know what to do. And it's not as simple. Wait. What if it's a secret act of kindness? His bait bucket is empty. I leave the worm for him so that he doesn't, you know. I haven't even looked at that rope. Could that rope mean anything? Nothing of interest. Can I put the worm in the barrel? No. Is that rope notable? See an old rotted rope attached to the pier. Well, if it's rotted, I don't know if there's much to be done here, but you wouldn't want it. It's of no use to you. Is it tied to something hidden under the water? Try another way to say that. Okay, probably not. Pull rope seems like the most natural and obvious way to say that. That's a good question, Dev. Well, perhaps, I mean, we got to give them enough credit to say maybe the reason that they look at the worm and they're like, okay, like, yes, that's bait. Like I've been using to fish. The fish don't care. Maybe. It could be that. You never know. And the fisherman stays inside, which means the unicorn might have permanently moved to a different location. What if the unicorn's main haunt is the top right screen that is surrounded on all sides by either a mountain wall or a grove of horrible man trees? That could be the case. I feel like the minstrel might play a role in the pan puzzle. But maybe I need to do something for the minstrel so he'll give me his loot. We'll go talk to him. I think look in barrel is just going to... Yeah, nothing of interest. Okay. And every now and then, I ought to swim out into the ocean. Indeed. It seems to be inconsistent. Sometimes look in does get a different response, or look under, and sometimes it's just the same response. Shark, shark, shark. Wait, golden fish. Ah, man. Holy smokes. You're swimming in a great ocean. Playful fish leap about you as you swim. Look at the whale. You don't see anyone. But we did. Oh! Horrors! You've been swallowed by a huge whale. Phew! This place stinks. Okay. Well, this might be the end right now because I might not have whatever it takes to get out. Well, that's another thing that I think being raised by King Graham. He's like, Rosella, you're going to constantly fall in the water, and at first, you're not going to know what to do, but the answer is always to start swimming. And so Rosella internalized that to the point that she just does start swimming. She doesn't have to consciously say, like, better swim. I'm in a whale, it stinks. Okay, I get it. There is a fish over here. I like to think that Graham was like, you know what? It's a little absurd that we have alligators. Like, if we really want to defend this castle, we could just build a wall around it. Like, no castle, no defensive walls, but we have beasts in our moat. It's a mismatching of security priorities. Look at the fish. Oh, bits and pieces of fish are everywhere. Take fish pieces? Can I collect up the... No. Not here. Whoops. Okay, what is this object bobbing in the water? I mean, water. No, I don't think so, Thedev. And I'm also not 100% sure, but I'm reasonably confident. It's a bottle. Well, we know what a bottle is for. It's for hiding messages. Oh, come on. I have a bottle. Look at bottle. Yeah. Look in bottle. You open the glass bottle and retrieve the imprisoned note. I don't know if imprisoned is the word I would use there. Help! I'm about to get blasted by evil Saurians in Space Quest. Anybody have a handy ray gun out there? Okay, fine. It's just product placement. Alright, what else is here? I mean, there's a boat. There's nothing in the old boat. It didn't help James, and it won't help you. I don't feel great about the game assigning my name to the skeleton. The skeleton of an unlucky man. Let's call him James. Sure, why not? Rests atop the wreckage of a small boat. And then whale stench has killed Rosella. This is... Okay. Okay. So we're not going to waste a lot of time here. I'm going to figure out how to get out of here or I'm not. This is a wheel? No. I don't know what it is. Looks like a wheel. I mean, you know what? That's a kind death in a sense. Yeah. I should have known when I wasn't getting any puzzle points for retrieving the note. Okay. Can I escape the whale? Oh dear. Okay. Do I fall at all parts at the top? I do. Look at uvula. I mean, obviously the answer here is to make the whale vomit by hitting that uvula. I think. Yep, it's a big uvula, all right. This doesn't feel like the answer. And this doesn't feel like how to use the gold arrows. Ah, what about the teeth? The whale's throat and mouth are enormous. This, I'm not going to leave to curiosity. I'm going to find out that if... Do whales have uvulas? But here's the thing. Whales don't have uvulas. Only a few animals do. Scientists are still trying to figure out why humans have them in the first place. There you go. But anyway, we're mainly just spotlighting the uvula here. Okay. Learn something new every day. Wait, she fell much sooner. Oh, because she's dead. Alright. I think... This is probably not priority right now. Probably... Oh, man, Rosella. We have man trees. We have man whales. Not close enough. But, okay. This isn't close enough. Can she climb right here in the middle? Nope. No, she can't. Oh dear. I have a very bad feeling. Notice how she's slipping at different random points. Is this a time-limited, no visual clues climbing maze puzzle? Let's... okay. I'm going to test the theory that there's a climbing puzzle here by messing around a little bit more. She fell instantly there. Okay. Here, she falls instantly. Okay. Here, she can go up, but if I pressed left, I fell instantly. Okay. It feels like it is that she's slipping at particular spots, which I hate. Start clue. It's the biggest tongue you've ever seen. It's also extremely slippery, slimy, and bumpy. Ugh. I agree with that assessment. And she's dead. Okay, let's go back to before we'd been swallowed by a whale. Knowing that there's a whale that will swallow us, there doesn't seem to be an object inside the whale you can take, but maybe Lolotte's next demand will be like, I want to make some perfume. Go find me some precious ambergris. Right? Make it happen. Oh, hey. Okay, so Pan can move around. That's cool. But yeah, I gotta... Okay. The minstrel seems quite pleased that you appreciate his music so much. He obviously loves the attention as he goes into an out-of-tune version of Green Sleeves. Hey, at least he's mixing up the set list. Okay. Is the trick here actually just to pay enough attention to this guy that he eventually gets bored and just like gives me his loot? They really like that was an out-of-tune version of Greensleeves. You can't get enough, can you, Rosella? This guy obviously loves an audience as he takes you through another popular ballad. Hanging round downtown by myself, and I had so much time. Every song that a kid who learned to play guitar in the 90s was taught early on. No. Okay. Well, let's test something. Can't do that. Okay. What do you want to do with the Cupid's bow? Can't do that. Okay. Okay. Alright. What do I have? I don't know why he would care about any of this stuff, but, give ball to Minstrel. Minstrel looks at your offering with mild interest, but politely declines. Well, let's just try it all. You want a crown? No. You're certainly not getting the bow. You want the shovel? I mean, he's a minstrel. You want to set some Shakespearean poetry to music? Want to write some of the songs that appear in the plays? Not close enough. You hand the Shakespeare book to the minstrel. Curiously, he opens it and begins to read aloud, first hesitantly. Then, with increased forcefulness, he begins to get into it. Are we going to make this guy into a good artist by inspiring him? Suddenly, he stops and looks at you. This is wonderful, he exclaims. This gives me a new lease on life. No longer am I a mere minstrel. Now, I will become a famous actor. To be or not to be. How's that? He gives you his loot, bids you farewell, wanders off to stardom. Checks out. Okay. Hey, Pan. You want to rock out? You want to jam? Yeah. I wasn't expecting that. That was not the hair I was anticipating. By any means. Hey, Pan. Let's rock, baby. Yeah. Rosella is a proper princess. You can tell she was raised as a princess, as royalty, and not as a slave. Alexander would have no shot of getting Pan to do something. Pan has ceased his dancing, as now looks at you and the loot curiously. Hey, Pan. How's it going? Are you interested in learning the loot? And maybe we could make a trade here? Maybe I can do some of the pan flute? Oddly enough, Pan seems to be playing just a regular flute. Not a pan flute at all. You speak to Pan, but he doesn't respond. He only stares at you expectantly. Would you like to try this lute? Not close enough. Stringed instruments, buddy. It's a whole new world. Okay. Pan gratefully accepts your gift of the lute. And in return, he gives you his flute. Happy now, he dances away with it. Nice. I wish I'd given it to him a little bit further away from the edge of the screen so we could have heard more of his happy lute song. No longer a bard, per se. Rosella is now a flautist. Let's see what this could possibly mean. Well, hold on. What if the flute has a password on it? Silver flute. That might be relevant. Look at her go. She's her own metronome. Gotta say, I like this Rosella. Okay. Unfortunately, my concern now... Wait, I can see a bird. See small birds here and there. My concern here is that the flute is going to be used to like summon the unicorn or something like that, which means we're going to have to play the flute a lot. Okay. Perhaps what I ought to do... Wait. Anything cool about that big rock? A large rock dominates the clearing. Sure. Probably can't look under this giant rock. Nope. Alright, there's little birds, but don't seem notable. Here's where I met the prince. Got that crown, but what's the crown for? I don't know yet. Fortunately, Lolotte did not have me searched, because I gotta feel like the peasant disguise would be undermined Well, you know what? Why don't I return to where I first saw the unicorn? Try the flute there. But another thought that just occurred to me, and I might as well check it on the way since it's closer, slightly one screen closer, is what if playing the flute is sort of the equivalent of a whistle while you work thing for these dwarves? They get into it and then something good happens. No, wouldn't be a good idea. Certain notes might, the resonance of certain flute notes might, yikes, I'm always going to trip over that. No operant conditioning taking place for Rosella with that particular ledge. Can I stop the flute song? Nope. You play the flute song and you're committed. Okay. Well, that was nothing much. So, I want to test the flute out in one other location that comes to mind, which is the... actually, two come to mind. Three... I mean, I should just play it everywhere. But hold on. The main ones that come to mind are, first, the two generic forest areas here, where the unicorn headed towards. Perhaps I can summon him thus with a flute song. This could also be not at all what the flute is for. But my other thought is that maybe the flute can put the tree men to sleep or something. And also, I might as well go to the spooky old house and see if anything else is going on. Two Cupid arrows. But the only place right now where I can think of an advantage to making someone fall in love with me, the only advantage I can see to that is with Edgar, who's already in love with me. Okay, well, probably we're just going to get to watch Rosella's delightful little metronome dance several times to no avail. Save before we do this. Because someone could just be home now. No. Okay. Open the buttboard. Okay. So far, I'm not scoring points at a super high rate, but we're making steady... Progress might not even be the right word, but things are steadily occurring. Is there a ghost baby in here now? No. Okay. I'm not seeing any further purpose to this place right now. Actually, I'll check the dining room. I might as well check the parlor. I don't want to climb the stairs in the tower right now. Wait, did I go back into the... Yes, I did. I went in the kitchen. Oh, is it just a... Can't get it. An old ladder sits in the middle of the floor. No. Rosella does not climb. Okay. Okay. Well, I'll look in the parlor. But I do have the strong suspicion that later in the game day is when this is going to become a relevant area. Unless, no. Rosella doesn't like to play the flute inside. Perhaps because, flutes can hit a lot of high notes. It's not as piercing if you do it in an outdoor space. Okay. Well, the mountain crypt. Anything different here? Can the flute awaken the lion statue so he tells me a riddle? No. No. Don't play your flute in the graveyard for whatever reason. Maybe. I was expecting that wouldn't be a great idea to be the nothing happens state. No. So another possibility is that this is a maze I can walk through. Wait a minute. How did I get... Why do I have 30 points now? What did I do? Did I just earn 30 points for playing the thing here? I'm just going to go back to... No. Oh. What to do? Well, I don't need this. I'll rename it something. Ah, okay. Thank you. Alright, never mind. No need for any particular new save. Just a one right here in case I cannot weave through the trees, which seems quite possible. And yet again, then again. Yeah, okay. Okay, but it is unfortunately the case that there might be... these evil trees are pretty dense. Wouldn't you know it? You've been caught. Oh, nice. More than one death by tree pun. Time to leaf this mortal world. Oh, keep them coming, Roberta. Oh! Worthy of the cannon, Cedric. Okay. No. We're not getting past that in this regard. Do I have any items that seem like trees would like them? I don't feel like I do. Okay. Can I make my way through any of the other groves of murder trees? You've been a real sap this time, Rosella. Hey, keep them coming. Keep them coming. An embarrassment of riches. They anticipated you were going to die a lot at this part. So then there's this one. This one doesn't look that promising either, but who knows? Oh my goodness. Seems you'll discover your roots, Rosella. Ho ho. Okay. I don't know that that was actually possible, but it seemed not impossible. One thing is that although, obviously they have limbs, like trees in all directions, these trees cannot grab behind themselves. Is there something I can do with that knowledge? Well, let's try. No, because that guy, he does have good peripheral vision. Alright. Well. Ah! Foreground tree is facing that direction. Alright, one more try. I gotta say, in the greatly reduced save screenshots, like size reduced, it just looks great. Like it really smooths out the pixelation. Okay. Probably the real gimmick. Ah, I forgot about... Okay. Hold on. I gotta stop trying this. And I will. I promise. It's just... It is the thing we'd love to eliminate the... possibility of it working. Okay. Well, does any of my new junk help me with the ogre? He's not here. Are they spikes? Spikes or stakes? No, it doesn't seem. Can I look in the window? You peek through the window but can make out no details. Why? Why would that be the case? You are not a violent girl, Rosella. Yeah, we solve our problems with inventory exchanges and fairy tale logic. Nothing in the pail. Yes, I know. It's not clear. I think it is. And look under pail is nothing. Nothing in the pail. Okay. Of course I can't do that now, but... if I can get this guy to load... if I could get this guy to load, but not right there. You know, give me a little space. Who knows? You shoot an arrow into the air. Oops, you missed. Yeah, because obviously I can't do that right now. Hold on. Okay. But it's there. Can't do that now. Are you sure? Does the ogre really like flute music? No, doesn't seem like it. So why... shoot an arrow... oh, is it shoot arrow instead of shoot bow? Do some page turning. Oh, come on, dude. There we go. You can't do that. Can't do it. No. And now I'm caught. Grabs you by the braids. Yep. Those braids. Okay. Worth a shot. But it feels like shoot arrow works to get her to shoot an arrow at nothing. Might as well try. Really does feel like getting the ogre to... Oh, man. What do you want to do? Okay. Alright. I have these objects. What can I do with them? I haven't tried digging anywhere. I haven't seen any spots that seem to indicate that I should dig. But what if I should dig somewhere? What if one of Cupid's arrows is precisely to poke the whale's uvula? What is the flute for? There are many questions. Back to the pool. To the meadow. Let's see if I can get this whale gimmick going again, just to see if shooting the arrow gets me out. If shooting the arrow gets me out but doesn't also, give me something, then, well, that'll suck. It'll feel like, I've wasted one of 2 arrows. Fish. Shark. And it got me from one screen over. Oh, man. Okay. Where's the magic map when you need it? But let's walk. Okay. You know what? Maybe I should have... Maybe I ought to return to the Dwarves' house, too. Perhaps there is some robbery that I could engage in. Or maybe because time passed, maybe they have made another mess. Maybe repeatedly cleaning their house is a key plot point. If so, it's like, come on, fellas. Have a little self-respect. Okay. Is the whale going to consistently appear in this general area? That's extraordinarily helpful information. If true. What if getting the whale to vomit me alone is how I can, wind up on a small island? Or just, somewhere different. A sub-area. Stranger things have happened. Can't do that. Can't do it. Okay. What if I try the far edges of the tongue? Notice I haven't saved in the whale, because right now I don't want to try this more than one asphyxiation length of time. That seemed kind of close. And she couldn't have just gone straight up Ah. Damn it, I should have saved. There's... Why? Why, Roberta? Why do you hate me personally? And I know that sounds narcissistic or paranoid, but we all saw that she named the skeleton after me inside the whale. Surprised there wasn't some text. I was like, man, that guy must have really sucked at tongue climbing. Swallowed by a huge whale. Doesn't smell good in here. And I believe that. Okay. Well. Agony. Okay. I should keep with the what I had going on here, which was, how did I do it? I'm going to need 2 Jonah saves here so I can try to save scum my way through climbing. And which could easily be a red herring. But I don't know. Because, I mean, this is the exact kind of action sequence that the King's Quest games love to throw at you. Testing the leftward limit from this height. Sure. Let's use this as the new base. I think it is just punch uvula. So climbing seems like strongly indicated. Okay. Well, let's try some more left. And then go up a little. And now she's standing atop the tongue. But she can still fall. What if just from that standing position I could have punched the uvula? Not close enough. Okay. Dead. Well, you missed me. Hello, your mom. First of all, you missed me at the start, saying, "Oh man, I have no time left on the tongue." Is that why I'm dying? Nope. Okay. No, that was a legit fall. But I said at the start that this is the first time that I'm playing a King's Quest game where I haven't heard of an infamous puzzle before. In King's Quest 2, my memory of the infamous puzzle was not jogged until after I accidentally solved it. But very little capacity to go back to the right. And she dies. Yep. Okay. One more try at this at the moment. Is how much I can stomach. About to save some progress there. Feels like I'm using my time better this time. I am standing. Come on. Just like Little Mac. Just a jumping uppercut. You strike the large uvula, punching bag looking thing, but nothing happens. Okay. Fine. That really sucks. But I have a shovel. But striking it causes nothing to happen. What if it's a fake out verb thing? With what? Alright, this makes me feel like I could tickle this if I had a tickling thing, which I don't. Do whales like flute music? No, they don't care. Okay. Great minds, waffle syrup. Or as it happens, maybe not so much. Okay. Okay. For the moment, absolutely your mom. Catch you on the flip side. Okay. Can touch the teeth. Okay. I gotta find. We're going back. We're gonna revert. I gotta keep my eye out. I'm not confident that it would let me do that. What if the fisherman and his wife just really need to hear some flute music? Is there a second dialogue from the fisherman? In reply, the old man comments, "Me and the wife ain't getting any younger, and times is tough. If you got any ideas, girl, let me know." Yeah, like, use worms as bait. Hold on. Was that it? No. Well, maybe some music. Hey? Hey? Grumpy old people love it when a plucky young woman comes into their home and just plays the flute at them, right? Nothing. Can I talk a third time and say, hey, what about some bait? He ignores my attempted conversation. He looks dismally into his coffee cup and sighs heavily. Would some love help, folks? Shoot an arrow into the air. Oops, he missed. Okay. So Rosella specifically wants to shoot her arrows into the air. It doesn't feel right that the answer would be shoot a bird to kill it with Cupid's arrow, take feathers from the bird, go get swallowed by the whale, tickle the uvula. Could I make a bird fall in love with me? Could I make one of Lolotte's henchmen fall in love with me and take its feathers? Why does the unicorn never appear again? There are many questions here. Well, let's go back to where we saw the unicorn and do some page flips and see if it comes back. No. Everyone feel free. If you know that the unicorn's only there once, and if you didn't already know you needed to get it and have all the things you needed, you're just in an unwinnable state. If that's the case, you have my permission to spoil me on that reality. Okay. Okay. Well, here's our old mountain range. Wait, Dwarves' house. Is there a feather duster in the Dwarves' house? I don't remember Rosella using a feather duster while she cleaned their home. But you never know. Hey, good job, Rosella. Walking down that slope without falling. There is a broom. And like, what are they going to do with it? I believe that I am close enough. I disagree. But okay. Closet contains only an old broom. You don't need the broom. Not even to tickle a whale's uvula? Well, apparently not. Wait. I don't know why I would want to spy on the 7 dwarves. Oh, and in fact I can't. I can't hide it. Oh, unless maybe... You don't have it. What is that on the table? A blue pouch. Okay. Thank you, Cedric. Feels good. Diamond pouch. Okay. Alright. Got some diamonds. You don't need to catch fish if you can buy a whole lot of fish with the diamonds some young girl just gave you. You've entered the small upstairs bedroom? Sure. I don't see a feather duster. No, it's private. That's where she draws the line. There are 7 little beds. Okay, can't look under the beds. Quit being a snoop, Rosella. Again, Rosella, why is this where you draw the line? I will steal a pouch of precious rocks from you. But under no circumstances will I abide violating your privacy. Alright. Are those rocks? No. Look at Blue dots. Nothing of importance. In general, nothing of importance. Okay. That's fair. Yeah, she's letting herself off the hook for that particular bit of cleaning. Was there a loose feather duster in the spooky house? I don't think so. But see, nothing looks like a feather duster there. No. Okay. Wait. This would be very silly, but no. Shoot an arrow, open the trapdoor. Wait. If I look at the trapdoor, do I get different text than just looking at the ceiling to see the trapdoor? No. Ceiling. Close trapdoor. Okay. You know what? I should climb the stairs again just in case now there's a Phantom of the Opera or something. I don't think so. I don't think so. But we'll see. Now that I know Rosella can fall, have I lost my stair mastery from earlier? No. But it's still nothing. Or is it? Probably. Okay. I mean, I might just as well see if the fisherman and his wife are satisfied with the poach of diamonds. But it feels like they're telling us to figure out how to... Wait. What if I give him the idea by actually putting the worm on his bait for him? On his hook. Baiting the line for him. What if that's the way to share the idea of attracting more fish by using bait? Probably he knows all about the concept of bait. But what if he thinks there's some kind of worm shortage for some reason? Oh, hey. Probably not this, but... Yes, it is! You aim one of Cupid's arrows towards the beautiful unicorn. You let go of the bowstring. Zing! Bullseye! The magnificent unicorn is no longer afraid of you. It's now your friend. Hey! So, can I brief you on what's going down here? Speak gently to the splendid unicorn. It whinnies softly in response. Ah! Can I pet him? You're not close enough. I can pet him. You gently stroke the velvety, soft nose of the unicorn. It seems as if you've made a friend, Rosella. Well, there's probably more to it, but let's try just giving our friend to the... Can I ride the unicorn? It would not do you any good, as you could mount the unicorn, but could not guide it. Well, I certainly don't have a bridle or anything. Will the unicorn follow me if I leave the screen? No. But now he's just there. Let's try talking to him once more. Probably this is just a... Yeah, no. Okay. Can I just guide the unicorn? No, I need a bridle. Okay. Hey, that focuses the mind. You know what? We ought to at least, like, even if it doesn't cause the unicorn to do anything for me, I'm sure he would like to hear his friend play the flute. Okay. This would be absurd, but no. Can't take the anchor. Worth checking, I guess. Okay, can I bait the hook for him? Oh! Is this just graphical variation? Or have we advanced the plot? Well, she doesn't want to talk to me. What's she doing specifically? And she's making bread. And he's got nothing else to say. Okay. With what? Your fingers, Rosella. Pook. No. Put worm on fishing pole. With what? Bait, hook, with worm. With what? You're not close enough. I don't think that. No. Okay. What else? Oh, right. The diamond poach. Is the it feels like the answer is not diamond poach, but... Well, you offer the poach of diamonds to the fisherman, who takes it gladly. Wife, give the girl my fishing pole and trade, he tells his tired wife. Obediently, she retrieves the pole and hands it to you. Thank you very much, she says, smiling. You have certainly helped us. You've certainly helped us. Good trade. But I think it was a good trade. Scrunching up your delicate nose, you gingerly bait the hook of the fishing pole with the large earthworm. Damn it, Rosella, come on. Focus. You catch a... Hold on. For the folks on YouTube, Waffle Syrup started by saying, surely the pole was... Oh, and then you can see the rest of Waffle Syrup's statement there. I mean, maybe it's a diamond and maybe to Rosella, she's just like, oh yeah, here's some diamonds. You know, like, I've got a lot of diamonds. I do not have I don't have a strong sense of the value of a diamond. Alright, let's try this again. Eagerly, from the end of the pier, you fling the baited line of the fishing pole into the ocean. The fish don't seem to be biting. Okay, fair enough. Okay. I mean, obviously, we're going to do some fishing somewhere. Yeah, that's true. You don't learn a lot about how normal people experience the economy when you grow up in Daventry. It doesn't matter if you're a princess or not. Can we fish anywhere? No. Okay. Can we fish in some spots and not others? No. Can we fish from a cliffside? Well, not this one. But is there a cliffside that is directly at the water? No. Okay. Wait a minute. Why on earth would I move on from a spot where there was a bespoke fishing animation without trying it several times to see if the puzzle is to be patient? Almost immediately, you feel a sharp tug on the line. Something pulls and fights your line as you slowly reel it in. There it is! You have caught yourself a fine, fat fish. If at first you don't succeed, try again. I have learned the lesson of the acorns. Was that the lesson of the acorns? Or was the lesson of the acorns that you had to be standing in the right spot? I guess it could have been either. Fucking acorns. Well, she's no longer a unicorn hunter. Okay. Is this a case where I actually just carry on doing favors for the fisherman and his wife? Hey, you want this fish? No, they're never going to eat fish again. We're eating filet mignon, thank you. Wait, I should have talked to them. What if they have new dialogue? What do I want to inspect? Nothing. I would have used the word inspect or look. Come on. You've really helped me and the missus, Skirly. Those diamonds will come in awful handy. We can't thank you enough. You speak to the fisherman's wife. She smiles as she replies, You're a very kind girl. You've helped us out a lot. Why, I might even be able to buy some brand new clothes. Well, good for you, lady. And I guess we have confirmation that the fisherman was not baiting his lines. Because we know he had patience. Well. Do ogres like fish? Dead fish. And I've got the shovel. And the flute still hasn't done anything. There are things afoot. Oh! Ah, he was lurking behind the tree. Which part reminds you of Inscription, Waffle Syrup? I'm interested to hear the connection. Ah, yes. Right. Yep. That's a clearly established connection. Yeah, what are we going to do with a dead fish? Do trees like dead fish? Alright, before I go to the Ogre House screen, save myself some walking if he's right there lurking. There he is. I'm curious about that too, PJ. Okay, giving the ogre anything is not the answer. Fair enough. Boy, I'd love to know if those are something. Those little objects leaning. Oh, man, I have been a sap, haven't I? Okay. Probably want to wrap up soon, but... Alright. I mean, I've made no use of the crown. I have used the gold ball, but could be useful again. I have made no use of the flute yet. I have made no use of the shovel. Or the dead fish. Is this a magical pool that brings dead fish to life? No. I feel fairly strongly that if well, hold on, actually. Not here. Okay. What if I... No. And it's not clear. Yeah, we know she's not going to climb. Oh, but what if during the passage of time some character came past here and stashed something in the tree? It's a thought worth keeping in mind. Oh, man. Hold on. Lord Coningsby, 1559 to 1626, sleepeth here in peace, an honourable man, a valiant soldier. He served his country well. You don't know what to dig for. Yet. Okay, hold on. I plant these shrubs upon your grave, dear wife, that something on this spot may boast of life. Shrubs must wither and all earth must rot. Shrubs may revive, but you, thank heaven, will not. Jeez, man. It's terrible meter. Yeah. Here lies Newberry Will. His life was finished because he took ill, but none'll miss him. He should have been wiser. 'Tis his own fault for being such a miser. Don't know what to dig for yet. Thought maybe the miser, he's got some gold. Why would I need gold? I already had diamonds. Here lies the body of Marianne Louder. She burst while drinking a seidlitz powder. Called from this world to her heavenly rest. She should have waited till it effervesced. Well, if I come across some seidlitz powder and I add powder that I can add to some water at some point, we'll let it effervesce for a bit before we drink it. Or that could be nothing. Dr. I. Letsum. When people's ill, they come to I physics bleeds and sweats 'em. Sometimes they live, sometimes I die. What's that to I letsum. Good meter, at least. What if there's a hint here? Betty Cowden died at 19. Here lieth the body of Betty Cowden, who would live longer, but she couldn't. Sorrow and grief made her decay when she lost her lover at sea one day. Oh no. Is that me? Is that the James in the whale? At length, my friends, the feast of life is o'er. I've ate sufficient, and I'll drink no more. My night is come, I've spent a jovial day. 'Tis time to part, but oh, what is to pay? What do you mean? I don't get it. Dentist Brown. Stranger, approach this spot with gravity. John Brown is filling his last cavity. Okay. $16.34 to $16.72. She's done her best. Do I get the you don't know what to dig for yet? Dig for bones. Not here. Here lies a poor woman who was always tired. She lived in a house where help wasn't hired. Her last words on earth were, "Dear friends, I am going to where there's no cooking or washing or sewing. For everything there is exact to my wishes. For everything there is exact to my wishes. For where they don't eat, there's no washing of dishes. I'll be where loud anthems will always be ringing, but having no voice, I'll be quit the singing. Don't mourn for me now, don't mourn for me never. I'm going to do nothing forever and ever." Okay. Reader, here lies, but forbear to read more without a tear. 1. I cannot speak the rest. You may weep, I'll smite my breast. Grief preventing, and this stone, too small to be written on. Only this, a little boy, Willie, in Abram's bosom laid. Okay. You're not close enough. Is it because this one doesn't have a message? Yeah. Okay. Did I read all of them back on the other one now that I realize? I mean, I definitely didn't now that I realized there are inscriptions on the crosses. Probably doesn't matter. But why wouldn't you check? No, I didn't come close to reading all these, did I? Or did I? I don't know. Beneath the stone, a lump of clay, lies Uncle Peter Daniels, who early in the month of May took off his winter flannels. Chilly May, I guess. Here I lie with my 3 daughters, who died drinking Cheltenham waters. If we had stuck to Epsom salt, we should not sleep in this cold vault. Oh my. Okay, well. I don't think I learned anything. Except possibly that there's some kind of weird powder that I need to let effervesce later. 6 feet beneath this funeral wreath is laid upon the shelf one Jerry Jones, who dealt in bones. And now he's bones himself. Jerry Jones dealt in bones. Mess off, Ogre. What if I throw the dead fish at the ogre? Is there anything notable here? Nope. Wait. No. There aren't any keys. Okay, no. No gimmick as simple as that. Oh, well. Oh, and I lost my message. That's okay. Would not accomplish anything. Okay. Probably none of this will. But let's... You like crowns? No, he doesn't care. Alright, excuse me, sir. I keep getting pulled back instantly. Alright. I need a bridle. Feel like the ogre is going to have a bridle. So do I have to defeat the ogre to get his key, or do I find his key somewhere? Does the unicorn want any of this stuff? Do you like raw fish? You're not carrying anything the unicorn would want. Thank you for being crystal clear about that. Here's where the minstrel sat. Yep. There's a tree stump in the middle of the meadow. Okay, sure. Yep, fair enough. Don't know what I was expecting. Anything else notable here? Nope. Cheep, cheep. Small birds around. Sure. I don't think I'm going to pluck enough of their feathers to make a tickling implement. Okay. At a certain point, you should rest your brain. But let me try. Dig. No. Did I even try this? You cautiously tap at the door, but are greeted only with vicious barking from the other side. There are dogs in the house, and they're vicious. That's a bad sign. For our future journeys. Yeah. Killed by a tree. Okay. Look again. What are some of the things? Let's go back to the dwarves once more. Where am I? Where are you, Rosella? There she is. Striding with purpose. I'm a big fan of this Rosella. Spooky house. To the thick forest. And I can fall down here. You're okay, Rosella, don't worry. Are they back home again? Angry at me for stealing? How would they know that I was the one stealing them? What is that thing on top there? Can I take some soup? I don't know why. Soup doesn't belong to you. Fascinating where Rosella draws her lines. But I guess this goes back to, there's obvious value to food, even if, to you, money is no object. No soup for me. That is very much the case. Hey, gentlemen. You like fish? They have everything they need. Can I explore the mine more? Yes. Great minds, PJ. Okay. Now what's going on? See them hard at work. Will these dwarves talk? No, they don't care. Look at diamonds. Look at bucket. Take the bucket. It's not yours, Rosella. Okay. What are your rules, Rosella? What is your understanding of morality? What's that on the ground? Is it a back scratcher? I don't think it is. No. Okay. They have everything they need. They don't want me to play the flute. Probably don't want to make one of them fall in love with me. Nope. Pickaxe! I wasn't seeing the black. I was seeing the black as terrain and not as part of the object. Okay. singular? No. You attempt to talk with the dwarf by the bucket again, but he only ignores you. Is one of the dwarves nice? These two seem to be talking. Okay. What about this one? He's not working. He's appraising. No. Can I pitch in? Not here. Can I pitch in here? Dig for diamonds. No. This isn't a passage, is it? No. And if it is, Rosella's not going to fit. Can I get back up? Oh, yeah. Oof. Careful, Rosella. Okay, so the only remaining thought is, can I get past this guy? And the answer is no. Was the whole point of helping them, like cleaning their home earlier, just that they would wind up leaving a pouch of diamonds? I mean, sure, makes sense. Makes as much sense as anything. Okay. Anything notable here now? Nope. How could I obtain a single feather? Oh no. So I gave up some, probably gave up some score points there by not doing the right thing. Okay. Can I take some hair from the horse? Nope. Okay. Not horse. I understand it's a unicorn. Distinct from a horse. Okay. It might be time to think about this for an entire week. Well, hold on. One last thing to try. One last thought that I would like to explore. Let's get to a screen where it says there's birds. There's a bird. Okay. Can't shoot the arrow here. Okay. No. Can't make a bird become my friend and then grab some of its feathers. It's going to turn out that, of course, that I'm completely off track with this uvular thing. There's going to be boxing gloves, and it's just punch it, but like punch it like you mean it. Now that your hands are protected or something. I don't know what to dig for, but when I do, apparently that'll do something. There's a trap door that I do not know how to access. There's a lot to be done. Okay, well, dig for bridle. Oh, hey, the bird sounds change depending on the type of bird. That's fun. I guess as far as I'm going to go around shooting at birds, I might as well try with the seagulls before I give up here. What if the answer to the whale is to throw a dead fish into its mouth? What if the fish is rotting? Or I could throw the fish at the uvula. I don't know. I don't know about swimming around the whale, officer. Because it kind of just seems to happen like an event. Let's see. Wouldn't it be something if the whale is entirely a red herring? There is a little island somewhere, but you don't need the whale to carry you to it and throw you up on it. You just need to swim to it. No, I do believe that Rosella is going to drown. Without even being eaten by a whale. Your body gives out as you prepare to join Davy Jones in his locker. Alright, Roberta. You've got me this time. And quite a few other times. Not if I used them to tickle a whale's uvula. So he would vomit me in a spray of ambergris. Well, again, this is part of her upbringing. It was all about core adventuring skills. All right. The true, very final thought of the day. I am going to go to the mountain range and see if the other use of the bow is already available to me and it's shooting those henchmen who have feathers. So if they love me, maybe they'll share some feathers. If they do, then I'm lying when I said it's the true final action. Because if I get a feather, I'm getting back in that whale. I'm tickling that uvula. Actually, I'm out of time. I gotta make supper tonight, so I can't. I gotta go cook. You know what? I think you might be right. Nonetheless, can't do it. Excuse me, goons. Okay. Well, it's a mystery. Nothing feels different here. Hey, she shot it this time. Which is a waste. Okay. Okay. There's a lot to think about for next time because we have a variety of points of interest. And we have a variety of items of interest. And we have, there are, fairly clear I gotta get a bridle somewhere for the horse. Or for the unicorn, sorry. Reasonably confident I need a tickling implement to complete the uvula puzzle, although that could be wrong. There's got to be something to do about the ogre, and in fact, maybe the ogre has the bridle. I don't know. Maybe the dead fish is, throw it and distract his dogs when you do get into his home. But I don't yet see, if I'm not allowed to shoot him with Cupid's bow, what I'm using to kill him. Can I nail him David and Goliath style with the gold ball? Well, now that I've said that aloud, I might as well try it. I don't feel confident in that idea. But you don't want to have said the idea aloud. I thought, oh, maybe. And then have to wait a whole week to find it. Ah! That was actually... Whew. Okay. Okay. One more try at that. That was a successful jump scare. Successful. Getting mush-mouthed as the day goes on. Yeah. Like, it's bad enough that he's a big, giant, ugly dude who's going to grab me by the braids and carry me off to eat me. There he goes again, but at least he didn't scare me. The crown comes up, so there's no, like, thing you can quickly do while he's dragging you by the braids. Okay. Let's approach the ogre house, where he doesn't often seem to... I don't know about this throw the gold ball thing anyway. But like I said, once the thought has occurred, it'd be nice to verify. An uneasy peace exists between the... It would not accomplish anything. Okay. Wear the little crown. It's not a good idea. But this is self-defense, Roberta. Okay. Can't drop the fish and leave it for him to eat. He got me. Okay. I'm got. I feel like actually probably not. Because it's tiny. I think not here is a... Well, hold on. It's not a good idea now. But there's, you know, do I meet someone else who wants to wear a little crown? Who knows? Okay, so there's lots to think about for next time. But hey, 43 points, that's not bad. We've mapped the available area except for that one screen that's surrounded by the awful trees. I don't yet have an idea what those trees might be all about. It might be a dodge the trees thing, in which case, damn, I gotta try that. But yeah, okay, I'll wrap up for now, and we'll come back, and we'll keep going next time. Yeah, that's how things like this work. So, check it out. Tomorrow, I think for now at least, the official time of Ultima Underworld is going to be morning. So 9 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. I will be firing up Ultima Underworld 2, Labyrinth of Worlds. I'll put that on the schedule once I get off here. And we have stuff to do in Castle British, fomenting or putting down a labor uprising, as well as a new gem to inspect, which may or may not cause something to happen. There are areas in the sewers I have not accessed yet, including some locked doors that maybe I'm good enough at lockpicking to try now. But most likely, I think the most likely next step is that the black gem is going to turn out to open more faces of the teleportation gem so that we can go to other planes of existence and advance the story. We'll find out together, team. And then, Tuesday, Greg thinks he's back in business. He was pretty run down, so he took the Tuesday off this week. But we'll be back at Shorai Neketsu Kuwa Kunio-kun, the original hot-blooded, tough guy, Kunio. And we'll see how that goes. Then come Friday, we're continuing down that Dead Mile. In the Dead Mile scenario in Frosthaven, on our Friday Night Frosthaven show, the big mystery now is it's an escape scenario that the map is only 2 tiles long. And the first room we've basically just almost entirely cleared out already. And it feels like it's going too well. What's the catch? Is it just the second room is hard? Or is there some gimmick that's going to extend the length of the scenario? No one knows for sure, but we'll find out. And then it's Saturday, and here we are. playing King's Quest IV, The Perils of Rosella together. So that's where we are. That's where we're going. Cool. Awesome. If you stuck around to the end, thanks for sticking around to the end. If you came and you left, can't hear my voice, but I'm glad you stopped by anyway. So thanks for stopping by. And until the next time that we are going all the way north until we come around to the south, together again, take care of yourselves and be kind to everyone you meet.